88.5 Sofa FM, 3 minutes after the hour. Like I said, we are ready to get set with house guests for today, Thursday, the 27th day of February 2025. A special good morning to you, son. Of course, it's a pleasure to have you grace me here as early as the year commences. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you very much, Cabrina, and Happy New Year to you and Happy Independence. I know we just finished celebrating what I think was a very successful independence. I'm hoping everybody has recovered and we're back to being productive citizens. So thanks for inviting me. Good morning to everybody in, let's say, radio land and television land, viewers, listeners. I'm hoping that we can have a very fruitful discussion today as it relates to matters for the Jacques Credit Union.
Definitely. And what better way to start than to speak on the exciting loan promotion we witnessed last year? Behind the scenes, you made mention of, it has been reviewed and you're more than thrilled to present your findings.
Right, exactly. So traditionally, we have provided our members with what we refer to as the Benwell loan promotion. It was a promotion developed specifically because we recognize our members usually look to have a little more spending money to do a number of things that we have traditionally done in preparation and in celebration of Christmas, ranging from buying furniture, appliances, shopping, gifts, travel. Some might go as far as getting vehicles and so on because of the quantum that we were offering. So last year wasn't any different. So the promotion ran from November of last year till December of last year, basically 2 months. And as usual, our members took advantage of that. And our records are showing that we issued as many as 68 loans to our members, totaling just under $800,000. We have had better years before, as I've explained to you, in terms of numbers of loans and so on. But that is really because what we have seen in recent times is that even our ordinary loans are so attractive that our members are not waiting no longer for promotions. They are actually making use of our loan facilities all year long because the interest rates are attractive, the repayments are attractive. As I said to the last time, we exist to serve and help our members, improve their standard of living, get the things that they desire, that they need, and that they want to make their lives a little more comfortable. And so it is our practice that we sit with them and we discuss how best we can assist them. And so we are very flexible when it comes to discussing repayment amounts. So people will find it strange that when they come and they would ask me or they would ask our loans officers, how much, if we get a loan of X amount, how much do we have to pay back a month? And our usual question would be, how much would you like to pay back? How much can you afford to pay back a month? And we can work with you as best as possible. Of course, if it's extremely low and unreasonable, we would tell you, but we would try to work with you, look at your income, look at your expenses, see what you have left as disposable income to service a loan, and give you a repayment terms and conditions that can suit you and not put you in a position where you would have issues coping with not just the payment of the loan, but unforeseen circumstances, emergencies, and so on. We always want our members to have that cushion. So we're very flexible when it comes to that. So our loan facilities are being sought after by our members throughout the year and not just waiting any longer for loan promotions.
Every time I bring you in, I'm as guilty as charged. We've had that conversation, and it's something I am yet to look at. How do you address in the event that persons have taken a loan, like you made mention, for some unforeseen matters or circumstances, they've lost their job, what has been put in place for them?
Right. I mean, apart from losing the job, there are other circumstances that would cause somebody not to be able to pay their loan. They have an expense, a medical expense that requires them to take a decision between, do I pay my loan or do I pay for this emergency medical thing for my child or so on? So the first thing we tell our members is we understand that those things happen. That's a fact of life. Inform us. Call in, come in and say, you know what, I have lost my job, I have this emergency, I have this choice that I need to make. How can we work around it? And usually we will look at the circumstances and take a decision that we think is in the best interest of both our member and our organization. So you lose your job, wasn't expected. We consider giving you some grace period At least we know. For as long as we think it is necessary in the first instance, and we reassess the situation. So you may very well say, all right, 3 months, but you may get a job within a month, and hopefully that you're able to tell us, I'm working now. So if after the 3 months you're still not employed and you're still unable to, you come back and tell us, and then we reassess. But what we want to know, what we do not want to have is somebody who has a loan obligation and is just not paying it and not communicating with us. Usually we would notice it from the first month, the second month we would call you. We'll try to find out what's going on. And sometimes, sadly, some persons don't answer their phone because of fear of, how they would react or how we react to it. But we're saying there's no need to be fearful. We would rather know and for us to be able to discuss how we can deal with that situation, whether it's a possibility that you can pay the interest in the meantime, or do we defer payments until a particular period? Do we look at is it a restructuring of your loan to cause you to pay less or something? Again, it depends on the circumstance when we discuss it. In a situation where your child has an emergency or a medical emergency, or you have a medical emergency, you need that money to pay for it as opposed to paying the loan, we can give you that grace period and we try and catch up, work out a plan that allows you to catch up. But we say to our members, don't just not pay the loan. Come and talk to us, let us know. We serve you all. You all are the owners of the organization. And so when you'll come to us, that's what we see you as an owner, and how can we cause you, to get over those obstacles. If you don't come in, we assume that you've just been delinquent. We assume that you just don't want to pay. And that requires a different approach. That requires an approach where we would have to take steps to get our monies, to get our monies back, because these are members' monies that we are lending to you. And the members expect us to be prudent with the lending. So as much as we want to help persons, we must do it in a prudent manner, in a way that is responsible. We're not just giving monies away, not knowing how we're going to get our members' monies back.
Which is true. Also, if an individual has an existing loan and for some apparent reason they come over to your entity, um, is it something, or would they be able to acquire a loan with
To pay off the existing loan?
Yes.
Certainly. I mean, a lot of our members, for lack of knowledge and understanding, would probably go to get things on hire purchase or get loans, quick, fast loans, other places, and then they're so anxious to get it that they're not paying attention to what kind of effect it can have on them in terms of the repayment. So somebody, yes, you get a loan quickly and with little fuss sometimes, but when you start paying those monthly payments, you realize how much of a strain and how difficult it is for you. And so they often come to us at that point. Again, we exist to help our members. And if we see an opportunity to help our members get out of a debt, and most times when they come to us in situations that we can provide them with a loan, what we call a refinance, debt consolidation or something we call it. They have debts several places and they're making several separate payments. When you consolidate that debt and you look at the monthly payment we offer, it's much, much less than when you add up all the various payments you make for the different areas. So certainly we'll consider it. Again, like I said to you, any loan that we're going to assist a member with, that they can prove to us that they will pay, that they can pay, they will pay, we would assist, and we'll be happy to get them out of that situation because it's in our interest to help our members. Yeah.
Let's say good morning to Claudia Lamontagne. She said, "Thank you, Mr. Bobb. This
Hey, Claudia.
information is very helpful."
Thanks, Claudia. Thanks for listening.
With that, we reach out to you as well if you just joined us. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's the first edition of House Guest for today, Thursday, the 27th day of February. Since my return, Mr. Bob, as always, it's a pleasure when we talk about money. A lot of the times, and I think we should just share the tip, especially coming out of such a busy season where persons spend even what they didn't have.
Right.
And now it's really difficult to try and, maneuver January as we hear it's a tough month, and even February. If I have to add it as well. So in some financial tips, it would be nice for you to share, with
I mean,
one day millionaires.
I think we have to understand the difference between being able to pay for something and being able to afford something. There's a fundamental difference in there. So being able to pay for something means that you have enough money to pay for it. So my salary is $1,000. I have something I want to buy for $900. I can pay for it, right? But can you afford it? That's where you now have to delve into, after the $900, after the $1,000 my salary, what are my expenses that I deem necessary? So your rent, your electricity, your basic necessity, your food, and so on. You should consider paying those things first, and then what is left, then you can consider what can I do with it. There should also be a savings component, because life throws all kind of unexpected challenges at you that requires money and requires money quickly. So you must always try to save, no matter how much you make. It's always good to save. Now, in some cases, some people tell you, boy, put aside what you plan to save first before you do anything else. I don't care what method you use, but try to develop a culture of saving, because you know there are things down the line that you want to get, as well as emergencies, especially if you have children. Consider whether you need something, and consider whether exactly what you are looking at is what you really need. Sometimes you buy things, a phone, for example. Some people buy some of the most expensive phones, and all they use the phone for is to make calls or receive calls. Do you need an expensive phone that has all kinds of features to do what you need to do with the phone? All right. Consider, sometimes there are things that you buy, you can afford it, but maintaining it is even more costly. So yes, I can buy a car. A fella selling a car for me for $15,000. Yeah, I can buy that car. You have not factored in the insurance, the cost of maintaining the gasoline, and so on. Can you afford that on a monthly basis? There are goods that you buy that require your purchase of other goods to make it, to give you the utility that you want. Consider those things. Be very careful. If, of course, we have a tendency to always want to follow, keeping up with the Joneses, being envious of what we see other people have, our neighbors have, our friends have. So we want it too. Can we afford it? You know, are we putting ourselves in positions where we tie our monies down, that if something comes up, it's difficult to move and maneuver? We buy on impulse sometimes. You go, you don't intend to buy, you go and you see something, you buy it. And then afterwards you realize, boy, what am I doing? We say to you all, those of you all, the dust has settled, you all have made your decisions. Look at where you are in terms of your debt. Come and speak to us to see whether we can offer you to take over that debt for you, or to allow you to clear that debt and now give you a more comfortable repayment for a more comfortable period. So there are these things that are available to you after the fact, after you have made what probably you deem to be an error, a bad decision. How do you fix it? How do you fix it? Instead of compounding it and continuing to go along with the flow, what options are available to me? And we have options in terms of consolidating your loan, like I said. So into one loan, one payment, less hassle, less money, and giving you more disposable income.
I totally agree with that. Another thing you can maybe look at, Mr. Bob, is money management.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think it has been something
Yeah.
over the years. As much as you, for example, would say you're making X amount of money and you're going to put that towards your saving, but then how do you regularize such a thing? Because as much as it may be there, sometimes you still find you're digging,
That's right.
into
Yeah.
this very amount that you saved.
I mean, I recommend to everybody to start doing budgets, no matter how simple it is. And a budget is simply a plan of how you plan to make money and spend money for any specific period. So for a month, how much money do I intend to make? I'm likely to make. For those of us who are employed, we have our income from our salaries. Okay, how much do I need to spend? Like I said to you, look at your necessities, your rent, your electricity, your water, your food, and so on, and how much you have left, and make decisions now based on that. So a loan is a very good tool that helps you manage your money. All right. Option of saving, like I said, where do you save? Now, some people put monies on the mattress and put monies in different. Think about the pros and cons of those things. You know, the money under the mattress, you have quick access to it when you need it, and that in itself is a problem, because it means that you spend it much faster because it's available, it's in your eyes, it's in close reach. Plus, the disadvantage is that it's not secured. Anybody can steal it. Anybody can go missing. And you don't make any money from it. Money is placed in a credit union, you make an interest on it. You also have it there in the event that you want to use it as collateral for a loan and so on. So think about the options that are available to you. Manage your money, make wise decisions, think through the decisions. We have a tendency that when we get a salary increase or promotion and we get more money, we immediately want to spend more. All right. And what I've learned in the past is the more money you make is the less you seem to have to save. And that is because you tend to want to spend more because you make more. So my family has not changed in size. I'm making $500 more in my salary. So I'm going to just immediately increase my groceries or increase my entertainment or increase the amount I spend on certain things. And it leaves you sometimes, but I make more money. Why am I not able to save? I marvel sometimes at how I see some single parents, for example. Some of the best people who manage money make the little money stretch. They make a fraction of what I make, but you see them stretching that money because you could see them thinking and prioritizing and making the right decision. A lot of time we find ourselves in financial situations because of the decision that we make, and we don't think it through, as I've been saying from morning. So a budget, careful budget, try and do it consistently, and try and stick to it as much as possible, and include a savings in there, and include spending money on things that are necessary. I'm not saying that you don't have to enjoy yourself. You're working hard, you should enjoy yourself, but be reasonable and think about the benefits and consequences of how you spend your money and what you would like to achieve, your future goals, or how you want to go to school. You want to come for a loan. A lot of people like me say, Bob, I want to get a vehicle loan, okay, what have you done to prepare yourself for that? Have you been saving? No, I've not been saving, but you want a loan of $60,000, $70,000. When I look at you, you have been a member of the credit union for a number of years. You've been working, but you're not saving towards that. And it helps when you have a savings pattern because it tells us your ability to be able to pay for the loan, for example, and also keeping true to the philosophies of a credit union, members saving so that the monies are available for members when they need it. Some people only want to use a credit union for loans, so they don't save, but they want other people saving because that's essentially what we give loans out of, people saving. And how selfish is that? You don't want any money, you don't want to save so nobody can have access to your savings for a loan, but you want other members who are saving, you want them. So when you join a credit union, we would like you to save and save as much as possible. So when you're ready for your loan, it's easier for us to make that decision to grant you the loan.
Very interesting. Could we, as we move along for sure, 21 minutes after, let's take a look at the Dominique Prospere scholarship as well.
Yeah, scholarship program. So we introduced our Dominique Prospere scholarship program at our last AGM. We were very happy and thrilled to do it for a number of reasons. It was something that we had been discussing from 2019, and we had planned to do it around that time, but COVID came and kind of caused us to delay it. Delayed beyond what we really wanted to do, but I'm happy that we eventually did it. And that's because we recognize education is an important tool, an important leveling tool. It's a tool that is available to level the playing field in terms of even poor persons, if they have access to education, can elevate themselves from that situation and the entire family in some cases to a much better situation. So that's why we have been traditionally providing bursaries to our members. So basically our members can apply for a bursary of $500 that for any student that passes the common entrance. And now we call it, what we call it now, I forgot what we call it. There's a new term for it, CPEA. So your child or your person living with you, you're the guardian, the legal guardian, you can apply if you're a member for a bursary if your child enters secondary school, and you get a one-off $500. We have always wanted to do more, and so the scholarship is offering more. The scholarship was designed to provide financial support to our members who have children going into secondary school and to provide that support throughout their tenure at the secondary school, and not just a $500 bursary. So we're looking at a substantial sum that will take care of books, uniform, supplies, school supplies, and for those children who are traveling, something towards the traveling. So the board, in our attempt to try to reward and recognize a stalwart of our credit union movement, particularly the First Credit Union, we have named it after Mr. Dominique Prospere, who was a founding member of the credit union and also the first general manager of the organization. And he still continues to play and show the interest in credit union movement and the First Credit Union. So we wanted to name that scholarship after him, and we have done that. And the scholarship, like I said, is for secondary schools. A child was passed for secondary school. You apply as a member, and if you are successful, it's for high achievers. So we would accept applications from our members for their children or wards, those living with them that are legally they are the guardians, and we would look at those applications, and if they meet the criteria, we would select the best possible person. So in terms of eligibility, you have to either be the biological or legal person responsible for that child and have to be a member of the First Credit Union. Of course, you must be in good standing. Now, you can have a loan if you're not paying your loan and delinquent, and we reward you with a scholarship. So we want persons to pay their loans, and those persons who are applying should be in good standing, should have some semblance of a savings for the last 24 months, and evidence that the child is yours or that the child lives with you. So we may not necessarily need a legal document to say that you are the guardian of that child, but we have evidence that the child has been living with you and you're responsible for that child. The child, of course, should have passed for secondary school. The child should not have had a similar scholarship. So in an effort to try to not, to try and reach as many persons as possible, we recognize that other persons are giving scholarships and grants and so on. So we would not like to give it to a child who already has another scholarship. You must have obtained acceptance and admission into a local secondary school on the basis of your academic performance. You should obtain an aggregate mark at CPA of over 75%. Again, we're looking to reward excellence. You, like I said, not delinquent. And in terms of the responsibility, when we select you as that person, there's certain responsibility that you must honor. I mean, we can just give you a scholarship and yes, we're giving you that money every year, and you're not abiding by certain rules. So we would like you to maintain an average, a good enough average, an average above 70. So we would be needing your report books every term to assess that. Also, we would like you to be an exemplary student in terms of behavior and discipline. So you might very well be performing well, but you're not disciplined. You're being suspended. You're being in trouble all the time. We would seek the school's report on you as far as your behavior is concerned. Your parents, of course, have to, the guardian or whoever applied for the scholarship has to remain a member of the Foster Jack Credit Union. If you leave, obviously the scholarship would not continue. If you become delinquent, so the parent may have been in good standing when they started the scholarship, and then somewhere down the line they are delinquent. And again, we're not just saying delinquent, you lost your job, and so we're going to penalize you. But it has to be a situation where we believe you can afford to pay the loan and you're not paying the loan. And so and of course, the child will be called on from time to time to provide some services to the credit union. So if we have a little exhibition or something, we may call on the child to assist, and that child should be available to assist. Nothing out of the way, nothing too difficult, but we would like sometimes to have those children on the scholarship program to assist us with some of our programs and so on that have been. The scholarship duration would be for the life of the time that the child is at the secondary school. So there's a maximum of 5 years. If the child happens to repeat a year, we would not provide the financial support for the year that but we can consider if they're able to move on from there. that we suspend the scholarship program until they are able to. All right, except like I said, if it's they're being repeated because of circumstances beyond their behavior and their performance. So maybe they fell sick and they had to be out of school for a while, and they figured the best thing is for the child to repeat the year. Yeah, so we in terms of the number of scholarships provided, that will be a decision made by the board, and the amount provided would be again a decision made by the board based on the availability of funds. But we would like to be able to award at least one scholarship every year starting from this year. So we're going to start from this year, July, August. We'll be having our advertisements out. We'll be having our flyers and our posters out in our branches, so persons will be aware. Members will be able to go on our website and get the rules and regulations and so on, as well as in flyers, so that they are aware of what is required and what would qualify them to be a successful applicant.
Definitely. And what better place to share that information than Soufre FM?
That's right.
Again, let me say kudos, to you as the manager and the great work that's been done. I personally, even the encounters I've had coming in and your staff, I mean, they're very pleasant, very, very pleasant.
Yeah.
And they serve you in that timely fashion. There were moments where you may have to wait, this is something, I mean, you can avoid. But then
Right.
in terms of the service they provide, I can definitely say, they're warm
Yeah.
personalities.
That's the general sentiment of most persons I encounter, that we are very warm and friendly staff, and I big up to them on that. And let me tell you, like I tell people, I sleep well at nights because of the staff that I have, the quality of staff that I have, the cooperation, the determination, the vested interest in the organization and members. So we I want to encourage them to continue. In terms of the time, we recognize that, and we are taking steps to deal with that. So very soon, I'm hoping that everything will be in place. So by sometime in March, we move into printed receipts. So persons will no longer be required to fill out the forms that normally takes a lot of time, because people wait till they get to the teller to fill out the forms, for tellers to fill out the forms. So you would come up to the teller and you'd say, "Here, I want to withdraw $10 from my shares." The teller would do his thing in the system, print out a receipt. You would just sign it. We keep one copy. You keep one copy. So that should increase or reduce our waiting time significantly. All right. So we're also looking to bring on additional staff and additional teller in Soufre very soon, because we recognize there are times when it's very busy and two tellers probably inadequate to serve them in a efficient manner.
Are you looking to have those machines as well?
Which machine? Well, we have had, when we purchased a branch in Soufre, we have had an ATM machine. And what has delayed our use of it is because we are part of a ATM project that involves at least 8 or 10 other credit unions. And so the existing ATM machines we have around the island are all belong to those members of that ATM project and are funded by them. So the cost is shared. Now, I've been trying to get them to include the fifth machine, which is our machine, and the cost to be shared as well and to be part of that whole program. But we found ourselves in a time when we are looking more at moving to the third stage of that project, which is an international debit card. So persons who are not too interested in an ATM machine as much as they want to get the international debit card, because it can be used at ATM machines at any point of sale service online to buy stuff. So hopefully very soon, sometime this year, we might very well see the introduction of an international debit card for that project for the 8 or 10 members who are there. That includes the Forces Credit Union. So look out for that, members. We are working on that. We are also looking at exploring other avenues for causing our ATM machine to be operational. Okay? So yes, that's the plan.
So a lot of things are happening.
A lot of things are happening. We're also looking at online or mobile banking as well sometime this year to our members, because our members are becoming more technologically savvy. They don't want to come and stand in line to do basic transactions and so on. And we have to respond to our members' needs if we want to remain relevant and we want to remain useful to our members. So we are listening. By all means, share your recommendations, your gripes, your dissatisfaction with us. We take them seriously. We want to be able to be the best service provider, the best financial service provider we can be for our members.
Definitely. Thank you so much for providing this insight. Um, Anything else you would like to leave in closing?
Yeah, I want to thank the Prospere Credit Union has grown significantly, especially particularly in recent times, and that is because we mentioned our staff, we mentioned our board, we mentioned our management, but our members continue to have the trust and the confidence in us. They continue to patronize us despite the other institutions that provide similar services. We have been able to grow our organization despite having, at one point in time, 2 banks and another credit union that is bigger than us, and our members continue to show that interest. I want to thank them for that, and hopefully that we are giving them utility, and their decision to stick with us is beneficial to them and is paying off. We want to continue to encourage persons who are not members of credit unions to join the credit union, not asking you to leave any credit union or bank. Join the Prospere Credit Union, be one of our family members, and let's see how we can move you and the organization in the direction that we would like to see move. So come in. We can now open an account with one form of ID. All you need is at least $115 to open an account with one form of ID and proof of address. Proof of address can be a utility bill that shows your name and where you live. If not, there are other ways we can verify your address. Come in, open your account, begin your savings, be eligible for loans to get whatever you need. All right? Join a credit union. There are tremendous benefits to be had from joining a credit union. When you join, you're an owner, you're sharing the profits. Well, not profits, the surplus that we make every year. We give you back some of the interest that you make, that you pay on your loans every year. Tremendous benefits. So we'll be happy to have more persons join. The more persons we have, the more we can do for our members.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bob. Time is against us, but just a mention. You guys set to have your AGM this year?
Yeah, well, our AGM our financial year ends in December, like most credit unions, and the expectation is that you should have your annual general meeting within 3 months of that. What usually dictates when we have our AGM is when the audit is completed. So we can only begin our audit, well, we begin our audit after the year ends, and it depends on how difficult the audit is, but we normally set our date based on when the audit is over. Our regulators recognize that it is sometimes difficult to have an audit within the first 3 months, an AGM within the first 3 months because of how long the audit lasts. So they give us an extension of 3 months after that. So you have until June of the following year to have your AGM for the year. And so we are hoping for the first time to have our AGM before the end of June. Fingers crossed. Our audit has started already, and hoping that we can have it completed sometime before May so that we can set our AGM sometime before June. Otherwise, we'll have to go past the deadline, which we have been doing, sadly, for the past few years.
Thank you. On that note, this is why I say thank you so much for sharing this knowledge with our listening audience, and thank you to you as well for taking the time off your busy schedule. This has been our first edition of our guest, Mr. Darnel Bobb, manager of the Prospere Credit Union. This is why I say have a productive day. Continue the good work.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for inviting us, and have a productive week and enjoyable weekend. And hopefully we'll be seeing you all in the large numbers.
You as well.
All right,
It's
thanks.
not the first for sure.
Bye-bye.
It's never a problem.
All right.
Bring you in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, before we leave, again, let's say thank you to Claudia Lamontine, and of course we have Sean J. Wilson. Thank you so much, guys, for your comments.
Thanks, Jim, Sean, and Claudia.